When Judas had left, Jesus said, "Now is the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him. God will also glorify him in himself, and he will glorify him at once. My children, I will be with you only a little while longer. You will look for me, and as I told the Jews, where I go, you cannot come. So now I say it to you. I give you a new commandment. Love one another. As I have loved you, so you also should love one another. This is how all will know that you are my disciples, if you have love one for another. This is the truth. Peace be with you." In the gospel today, we hear about love. Jesus says, "They will know that you are my disciples because of how you love each other." In our first reading, we hear that we should have a spirit of wisdom and righteousness, that we might have knowledge of him. And so I would like to propose a parallel and an analogy. We hear that God is love, and we hear that God is the truth. Jesus says, "I am the way and the truth and the light." And so we have this analogy which, with how we respond to love of our neighbor, shows us how we are able to love God. We even read in the scriptures, "If you do not love your brother who you can see, you cannot love God who you cannot see." And in a similar way, I would propose that if we do not stand up for natural truth, for truth that we can know from observation, truth that we can know from logic or philosophy, then it is difficult for us to stand for divine truth. If we do not practice love, we cannot know love himself. If we do not seek out truth, we cannot know truth himself. This is why it's very fitting that we have universities. Universities that teach not only theology, but that have a theological worldview that says all truth points to God. Whether it's science or math or art or history, that all truth points to God. I would go a step further in this parallel, that just as people will know that we are disciples of Christ because of how we love each other, they should also know that we are disciples of Christ because of how we respond to the truth, because of how we seek the truth, because of how we honor the truth. That we as Christians must be the people most concerned with the truth. Whether this is truth in history, truth in science, truth in philosophy and morality, truth in mathematics and logic, or divine truth. This is essential. And this is a way for us to proclaim the gospel. That we proclaim the gospel because these are the people most concerned with truth. That we proclaim the gospel because these are the people most radically in love. And that the only explanation is that they have met, that we have met truth himself and love himself. In addition, when we put these two parallels together, we see a quote, and I'm gonna change the quote a little bit, but Benedict the 16th, the Pope Emeritus, he said only the truth can be pastoral. And I'm going to change that and say only the truth can be loving. Just as in a marriage, you cannot enter into the marriage if it is based on a lie. So you cannot love someone without truth. And to lie is to lack love. Let us, in all of our endeavors and in all that we meet, seek to share the love of God that we know with those who we meet, and seek to share our love of the truth, Christ himself, in all of our studies, in all of our work, in all of our conversation.